Welcome to another RiderCamTV video, and today we have got something just a little bit special. So I'm parked up by the side of the road, and we have got the Chigee AIO-5 for BMW. Now, you might be asking, what bike am I on? I am on a BMW 1300 GS. And this is working. So all I've done is I've plugged the unit in onto the sat nav, the BMW sat prep, and it works. Now let's have a look at the stuff that we've got here first. So firstly, we've got Apple CarPlay, or Android Auto, depending on your phone. It's really easy to connect. All you do is connect to the Bluetooth, and there you are, it's done. Then we have various information on this screen. So we have the miles per hour, your trip and how long you've been riding, the direction you're travelling, and the tyre pressure monitoring system directly feeding from the bike, as well as your time and your sunset. So if I go into this screen is the BMW screen. Now this screen shows you all of the information directly from the bike. So I'm going to take it off the stand. You can see that the lean angle is 0. Now you can see the lean angle is changing. How cool is that? But if I start the bike, now we have got all of the information from the bike, and you can see that at tick over 1200, just over 1100 RPM. Brilliant. You got the speed there is showing as kilometers per hour rather than miles per hour, which is a bit strange because I've set it to miles per hour. But you've got your bar for front and back, what gear you're in, your range, engine temperature, lean angle. As you can see, the lean angle changes about 13 degrees when you're on the stand. Ambient temperature, battery voltage, various things down here, and I think this is up for service. You've got your altimeter, tell you how high you are, and then you have got a button here. Now this button brings you into more information, so let's see if we can press and hold and change anything. So no, it's all the information that is left there is static, is what I'm trying to say. So it tells you the RPM, kilometers per hour, which is a bit of a glitch because it's set for miles, so that should change. All your temperature, lean angles, front and rear, tyre pressures, your battery voltage, your range, total kilometres or miles that you've done remaining until your service, and that's when you service it. So you've got two screens, and it tells you what gear you're in as well. So how do you work it? So I'm going to turn the bike off. Just going to stop the bike just so I can put it on the side stand, really. Put it on the stand, on the side stand. Now, how do we work this unit? So we can obviously work the unit by press, and you can see I'm just using normal gloves. However, there's a trick up this one sleeve because it works with your whiz wheel without any extra additional stuff. So plug this on, and you can see that on the top of the TFT screen it's got TFT, and there's a hidden box there that says nav. So I'm going to press the menu button and hold it. Now it says nav. Now when I scroll with my whizzy wheel, you can see that it's moving to and fro all of the apps. Now if I want to select the app, I thought that you would press and hold the cancel indicator like the other versions, but you don't. On this version you press it once. So if I want Waze, I literally press in once, then it will take me to where I got confused then. I thought that pressing that would select it. It doesn't. So if I want Waze, I have to select it a different way, because you notice that Siri came up there. If I press it quickly and press it again, Siri comes up and you cancel Siri. So that's really good. However, I have noticed when you're riding that when you're doing that and you cancel the indicator, it activates Siri. So you need to have it back onto your nav, on your TFT, rather than the nav selected. But say I want to go into Waze, I'm using the whiz wheel, and hopefully you can see it's moving everything. I'm going to go into Waze. To select Waze, I quickly turn the dial, or slant the dial, so quickly will take me into Waze. So we're going to find somewhere that we're going to go. So I'm using up, down to select all the stuff that I want, and then a quick angle press to take me where I want it. So I'm gonna look for Cornwall Kawasaki. The only issue that I find with these sort of things is when you're looking for something, if you go into the keyboard and you're doing it via the whiz wheel, so let's go into the whiz wheel. There we are. Select it. Now you've got to go through all of these things, which is such a pain. It really is. So I'm going to come out of that and I'm going to go do it by hand, just so that it's easier. So Cornwall Kawasaki Centre. It's found the route. So now we're off. So I can control everything on this Chigee via here. So if I press and hold, if I angle that and press and hold it, it will take me from there to the other screen, and then to the other screen, and then back to Apple CarPlay. If I want to change something on Apple CarPlay, I use the whiz wheel up and down, and you can see things are changing, and I can stop it just by quickly pressing like that. But I want to see how this reacts as we drive along. So one thing I did notice is, do you remember me saying this indicator, if you press it in, it activates Siri and deactivates it? Well, I don't want that. Every time you're indicating off a junction and you're cancelling, it brings up Siri. Well, none of us want that. So I think they might have to change that button, or we just get used to it. See, nav is activated here. If you press down once on the menu, it brings you back to TFT. So now when I cancel the indicators, nothing happens. But equally, when I use the scroll wheel, nothing happens. So one thing I do want to do is I can go into that search. I wanted to see whether it will allow us to zoom in and out of the map. Now I'm using Waze here, so it doesn't, unfortunately, because there's no way of going from this menu onto different menus. So you can get your route options, all of that sort of stuff. That's pretty standard, but you can't actually zoom in and out and zoom in and out of the route. So this unit, as you can see, really nice and small. It's really quite thin. Two tiny little proprietary, they're like pentalobe screws like your like you have on the iPhone, and inside there is your USB-C connection. Not sure what that's for, because why would I connect it to anything? And the SD card that came with it was an 8 gig SD card. So on the top we've got the home button. You can go to various screens. You can lock the screen, and we'll see what this button does in a moment. And it's got the nice, almost feels like plastic, but it's like softer plastic on the outside, the red bit with all the pins on there, and it's just literally, you got the two divots there, and there's two pokey outy things. You got one pokey outy thing and one divot there. It just literally sits in. If you can see in between, there's red dots there. It locks in, lock it, and now you've got a locked unit that has no information on it, and that's what I really like about it. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are really good at one thing: displaying and mirroring what you've got on your phone. So why is that a plus? Well, somebody comes along, if they're intent on nicking this, they're going to nick it. If they nick it, they don't know where your home is, where you've been, what's going on, because when they plug it onto their bike, it will take the information from their bike. Yes, it's a bit of a bummer that somebody's stolen it, but it's not like having a Garmin or something like that, where all of us, or lots of us, put our workplace in there, our home address, where we've been. So there's a whole history of where we are. You imagine being away. So I'm out on a tour in the Pyrenees, somebody steals that, they've got a gang elsewhere in another country, and suddenly it says, oh, I live in Redruth in Cornwall in the UK. Oh, we've got a team over there, let's go and screw their house over. Now, it does happen. Probably not as much as we worry about, but it does happen. But now this unit, it's like a dumb unit, isn't it? But you get it working, turn it on, and it's now not a dumb unit. Let's have a look and see what these buttons do. So we've got one button up here, which will take you to your home button, because we're on it now. So let's click somewhere else. Takes you to your home button. So this is your home screen. It's just connected to my phone. This button here will take you from screen to screen, so from the BMW screen to the minimalistic screen, I'm going to call it, to Apple CarPlay. Then we have got another screen here which turns the screen dim. You can see it, it dims it, which might be quite good at night. So when we did the 1,000 miles around Scotland, we had the AIO5 light wired in with all the cameras on. And it picks up from your phone nighttime. Now in Scotland, it didn't get dark until like 10, 11 o'clock at night, but it was too bright. So I pressed this, which then dimmed it, and it dimmed it enough that in that, the light that's coming out with the darkness that was approaching when we were riding, it was able to shine it through a little bit better. And then you've got your lock button. Now if you press it, now nothing will happen. I've got to literally, you might not see it, it says unlock. So you've got to swipe up to unlock it, and now I've got full use of the device. Do you know, I think this device is pretty special. Now people will say, oh, what about the price? It is really well made. Yes, it's plastic, but it's really, really well made. The screen is really responsive in everything you do, you know, everything. If I want to go back into settings, you know, it's really, really responsive. And when I say really, I'm not speeding the camera up at all. I'm going to go into Apple Maps. Yeah, brilliant. Don't want to go to Taunton Dean. I'm not going to go into messages. I'm going to go into music. I'm going to play music. Instantly playing in my headset. Instantly pausing. It's just really, really good. My Route app now playing podcasts. All the stuff that you want on there. Scenic. All that sort of stuff. All at the touch of your hands. And it's all on your bike. All on your phone, sorry. So if this disappears or something happens, it's all on your phone. Now the only other thing to be aware of is that if you are using satellite navigation via, I mean, I think I've even got TomTom in here. I know people know that I'm not a TomTom fan, but the TomTom app works really well. I've used it actually. So if you're navigating with TomTom or any of the other apps, bear in mind I had downloaded the maps of where I was going to be. It did run my battery down, so I think about 5 or 6 hours my iPhone 15 Pro Max battery was down to like 50%. So that's the only thing you got to think about. Where do I charge my phone? What do I put on the bike so that I can charge the phone as I'm going? Other than that, you've got everything at your fingertips. It just works. And it doesn't have to work really well. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. There'll be links in the description where you might be able to get a discount or two. There'll be a link in there anyway. At the moment of recording this, there are a couple of glitches which we'll report back. That's the kilometers and the miles per hour not showing particularly accurately, because it's miles per hour there, and we've got kilometers per hour there. So things aren't correlating exactly, but the functionality is working. I mean, even the lean angle at 14 over to, if I can get it to zero lean angle on the stand, we've got 12. And you can see this little yellow bit. That's because I'm holding the front brake. If I was holding the back brake, it would be there. If I'm indicating, so you've obviously got to have that on there. Indicating, the indicator comes on. How cool is that? That is really cool. Now, interestingly enough, if you have this unit being selected and being used via the nav being lit up, and you indicate and you're doing all of that stuff, and you cancel the indicator, it doesn't start your Siri or Google or anything, because you're not on the CarPlay screen. On the CarPlay screen, different set of functionalities with different presses and different scrolls. What a brilliant unit. check it out in the description. Go and buy one, pre-order, because they're pre-order at the moment. But what a fabulous kit, and I tell you what, this is going to be in my kit when I go away on tours as a backup, or maybe if I have got a different bike with this and I don't have any need for the cameras from it, it might just sit on the bike full time. What a great bit of kit. Thanks, Chigee. Check it out in the description. Thumbs up, like, all that sort of stuff, and we'll see you in the next video.